Explain, Day ordered, moving to her station. These structures in orbit, they're massive. Some appear to be stations, others are clearly ships, but our systems can't tell which ones are military vessels. Security Chief Hana joined them, her tall frame casting a shadow over the console. That's impossible. All species disguise their warships. It's the universal approach. The three aliens studied the images of Earth's orbital facilities. According to their intelligence, humans had only achieved faster-than-light travel 15 years ago. They were newcomers to the stars, yet they had already established an impressive presence in their home system. Perhaps their technology confuses our scanners, suggested Day. We should proceed with the diplomatic meeting as planned. 3 days later, the Council ship docked at Earth's orbital platform Genesis. Captain Day led a small delegation through the airlock, where they were greeted by a group of humans in crisp blue uniforms. "Welcome to Earth space," said a woman with short black hair and confident eyes. "I am Admiral Park of the United Earth Fleet. We're honored to host the Galactic Council's first official visit to our world." Day performed the traditional greeting gesture. "The honor is ours, Admiral. I am Captain Day, representing the Council of 43 species." As they walked through the station's wide corridors, Day noticed the humans walked with a straight-backed confidence. They seemed open, making direct eye contact, unlike most species who practice the subtle art of diplomatic caution. "We have prepared a tour," Admiral Park said. "We thought you might be interested in seeing our ships, as your message mentioned. A cultural exchange regarding space travel technology. Yes, we are particularly interested in understanding your defensive capabilities," Hana said carefully. Admiral Park smiled. "Wonderful. Our newest destroyer just completed its trials. It's docked here for resupply before joining the patrol fleet." The human led them to an enormous viewing platform overlooking a massive dry dock. Below them sat a vessel that made Officer Jin gasp audibly. The ship was huge, at least 500 meters long, with a dark grey hull. Its surface bristled with what were unmistakably weapon systems, missile tubes, large cannon-like structures, and armored plating. There was no attempt to hide its military purpose. In fact, it seemed designed to announce its lethal capabilities. "This is the UNS Resolute," Admiral Park said proudly. "One of our standard deep space destroyers. She carries a crew of 250 and can operate independently for up to 3 years. The aliens stared in shocked silence. "You travel in these openly?" Jin finally managed to ask. Admiral Park looked confused. "Of course, why wouldn't we?" Day exchanged glances with his colleagues. In the history of the Galactic Council, spanning thousands of years and dozens of species, no civilization had ever displayed their military vessels so blatantly. It was considered primitive, even barbaric. "Where are the concealed weapon systems?" Hana asked, her voice tight with tension. "Concealed?" The human admiral laughed. "There's nothing concealed about the Resolute. What you see is what you get. Well, except for the internal systems, of course. This was worse than they had feared. The humans weren't just displaying their weapons, they were proud of them." Later, as they toured the ship's interior, the aliens' unease grew. The vessel was built with thick walls between sections, redundant systems and multiple command centers. "This ship is designed to take significant damage and keep fighting," explained Commander Yu, the vessel's captain. "We can lose up to 40% of our systems and still complete our mission." In the mess hall, Officer Jin quietly communicated with Day. "They designed these ships for extended combat, not quick strikes but prolonged engagements." "Why would anyone build war vessels this way?" Hana whispered. "The point of warfare is swift, decisive action from ships the enemy doesn't recognize, as threats until it's too late." When they reached the bridge, Admiral Park turned to them with a smile. "Any questions?" Day gathered his courage. "Admiral, in Council space, military vessels are disguised to look like civilian or scientific ships. No one displays weapons openly. It would be considered uncivilized." The Admiral's smile faded. "I see. Well, that explains your reaction. But tell me, Captain Day, if everyone hides their military capability, how do you prevent conflicts? How does deterrence work?" "Deterrence?" Hana asked. "Yes, we build these ships to be visible, to be intimidating, precisely so we don't have to use them." Our philosophy is peace through strength, openly displayed. The concept was alien to them. In council space, the sophistication of warfare lay in deception, the art of striking before the enemy knew you were a threat. As they returned to their ship that evening, the delegation was silent. Finally, Day spoke. "Send a message to the council. The humans are different. Their warships are real, visible, and designed for extended combat. They don't understand or practice deceptive warfare. Should we consider them dangerous?" Jin asked. Day looked back at the human station, where the massive destroyer floated in its dock, weapons exposed for all to see. "I don't know," he admitted, "but they've certainly changed the rules of the game." The grand reception hall aboard the Genesis station glowed with soft blue light. Humans and aliens mingled cautiously, each studying the other. Captain Day sipped from a glass of water, watching Admiral Park introduce her officers to the Galactic Council representatives. Ambassador Tay, the Council's chief diplomat, approached Day with concern in his large eyes. "The humans are proudly showing off their military capabilities. I've never seen anything like it in my 200 years of service. It defies all logic," Day agreed. "Even the most aggressive species in the Council disguise their true strength." Across the room, Commander June of Earth Space Force was deep in conversation with Officer Jin. His gestures were animated as he explained something about human ship design. Ambassador Tay motioned for them to join the conversation. As they approached, they heard Commander June's enthusiastic voice. "The outer hull is 30 meters thick in some places. We've tested it against everything from kinetic impacts to plasma weapons." Jin noticed their approach and quickly changed the subject. "Commander June, perhaps you could explain to Ambassador Tay why humans make their warships so obvious." The commander turned, his face open and friendly. "Of course. Please sit with us." The aliens settled onto the low couches. Around them the reception continued, but Day noticed other council members were drifting closer to listen. "In human history," June began, "warfare evolved from direct confrontation to stealth and back again many times, but we discovered something important during our last global conflicts. Visible strength often prevents war better than hidden strength." Ambassador Tay's translator struggled with the concept. "I don't understand. In galactic civilization, military vessels are disguised as civilian or scientific ships until the moment of attack. The art of war is psychological. The sophistication lies in enemies never knowing which approaching vessel might be hostile." "That's fascinating." Commander June leaned forward, genuinely interested. "Humans took the opposite approach. Our warships are deliberately intimidating to prevent conflict. We call it deterrence through visible strength." Security Chief Hana, who had been silent until now, spoke up. "But doesn't that make your ships obvious targets?" "Absolutely," June nodded. "Our ships are designed to be targeted first and to survive it. That's why they're compartmentalized, heavily armored, and have redundant systems." The observation deck of the Galactic Council vessel was quiet as they approached the blue-green planet. Captain Day looked out at Earth, a world that had only recently sent signals into deep space. His three-fingered hand tapped nervously against the viewing panel. "Scan complete, sir," said Officer Jin, her violet eyes fixed on the display. "I'm confused by these readings." The aliens exchanged troubled glances. "So you build ships expecting them to be attacked?" Jin asked, her voice rising. "Slightly, of course. What's the point of a warship that can't take damage?" June looked confused by their reaction. "Don't Council ships have similar protections?" Ambassador Tay cleared his throat. "Council military doctrine values speed and surprise. Our warships are lightly armored, but carry powerful weapons hidden within civilian exteriors. The enemy never sees the attack coming." June's expression changed to one of concern. "That sounds like ambush predator tactics. On Earth, we consider surprise attacks to be dishonorable in most circumstances." A tense silence fell over the group. Admiral Park, noticing the sudden tension, joined them. "Is everything all right here?" "We were discussing differences in military philosophy," June explained. "It seems the Council takes a very different approach to warfare than humans do." Admiral Park nodded thoughtfully. "Cultural differences are to be expected. That's why these exchanges are so valuable. But Day could see the strain in her smile. The fundamental difference in thinking was not small. It reflected completely opposite worldviews. Later that evening, Security Chief Hannah stood in the secure communications room of their ship. The holographic projector showed the faces of the High Council members, their expressions grim. "They display their weapons openly," Hannah reported. "They design their ships to be intimidating. When we explained our approach to warfare, they called it dishonorable." "Dishonorable," one council member repeated, antenna twitching in agitation. "They consider sophisticated deception dishonorable, yet they build vessels whose sole purpose is violence." "They claim these vessels prevent violence," Hannah replied. "They believe visible strength deters attacks." Another council member leaned forward. "This is primitive thinking. They are a danger to the established order." "Humans are unpredictable and potentially destabilizing," Hannah concluded. "I recommend caution in all further interactions." After the transmission ended, Hannah found Captain Day on the observation deck, watching Earth rotate slowly below. "The Council fears them," she said simply. Day nodded. "Because they don't understand them, and that makes humans dangerous." "Or maybe we're the ones who don't understand," Jin said, joining them. "Commander Jun showed me their historical records. Humans evolved on a planet with large predators that attacked openly. Their psychology developed to value visible threats over hidden ones. That doesn't make their approach less dangerous," Hannah insisted. "No," Jin agreed, "but it makes it more understandable." Day turned from the window. "Tomorrow we meet with their Defense Council. We need to determine if humans can adapt to galactic norms, or if their presence will upset thousands of years of established protocol." "And if they can't adapt?" Hannah asked. Day's expression darkened. "Then the Galactic Council will have to decide whether Earth can join the interstellar community at all." As they spoke, in another part of the station, Admiral Park was having a similar conversation with President Kim via secure channel. "They hide their weapons, Madam President. They consider it sophisticated to attack without warning." The President's face remained impassive. "Can we trust them?" "I don't know," the Admiral admitted. "But one thing is certain. We've just discovered that the galaxy is a much more dangerous place than we imagined." Neither humans nor aliens slept well that night, each wondering if they had discovered friends among the stars, or a threat to everything they believed. The grand chamber of the Galactic Council hummed with tense voices. Representatives from 43 species filled the tiered seats, their attention focused on the central platform where Councillor Wu stood, his scaled skin flushed dark with emotion. "These humans are too dangerous," he declared, pounding his fist on the polished stone table. "Their approach to warfare is barbaric. They build ships designed only for destruction and make no attempt to hide this fact." Murmurs of agreement rippled through the chamber. The reports from Captain Day's diplomatic mission had disturbed many council members. Humans were not like other species who had joined the galactic community. They followed different rules. Elder Councillor Bay raised a hand for quiet. "We must be careful not to judge too quickly. Humans have not shown aggression toward any council world." "Not yet," Wu countered. "But look at their history. They fought 3 global wars before they even left their planet. And now they build these monstrosities." The display behind him showed images of Earth's warships, their weapon systems clearly visible. From a shadowed alcove reserved for observer species, Representative Sun of the Zaraxi watched with interest. The Zaraxi had a reputation for aggression, but had always been careful to follow council protocols. They disguised their warships perfectly, striking only when advantage was certain. These humans were different. They broke the rules just by existing. Sun made a small gesture, and one of his aides approached. "Contact the High Command. I believe we have an opportunity to gain favor with the Council." Across the galaxy, on Earth, Director Hyun of Intelligence stood before the Security Council in a windowless room deep beneath the Pacific Ocean. The faces of Earth's leaders showed growing concern as she delivered her report. "The diplomatic mission has not gone as well as we hoped," she explained. "The Galactic Council is deeply disturbed by our military vessels. They consider our approach to warfare primitive and threatening. That's absurd, General Mun interrupted. Our ships are defensive in nature. We designed them to prevent conflict, not start it. They don't see it that way, Director Hyun replied. In their culture, military strength is hidden until the moment of attack. Our visible weapon systems violate their most basic assumptions about civilized behavior. President Kim, who had been listening quietly, leaned forward. What are they asking of us? Some council members are suggesting that we must dismantle our current fleet and rebuild ships according to their specifications if we wish to join the interstellar community. Silence fell over the room as the implications sank in. That would leave Earth defenseless, General Moon finally said. Their ships are designed for first strike capabilities. Ours are built to absorb damage and respond. If we rebuild according to their specifications, we would be vulnerable. President Kim finished the thought. Director Hyun, what else have your intelligence sources uncovered? Director Hyun's expression darkened. We've intercepted communications suggesting the Dra'kari are planning something. They're an aggressive species with a large fleet, and they see an opportunity in this situation. She pressed a button, and a holographic display showed a star chart with several highlighted systems. We've detected unusual movement near our colony on Proxima Centauri B. 3 Dra'kari vessels changed course 2 days ago and are now headed toward the colony. A diplomatic mission, asked Secretary Back. The Dra'kari haven't informed us of any mission, Director Hyun replied, and these ships are maintaining communications silence. President Kim stood, her decision made. Deploy the UNS Thunderchild to patrol our border systems. If the Dra'kari are testing us, they'll find we're not as primitive as they think. 3 days later, aboard the Dra'kari command ship Silent Hunter, Captain Min reviewed the final approach to the human colony. His ship looked like a standard trading vessel from the outside, but inside it carried enough firepower to reduce a small city to ash. The humans have no idea we're coming, his first officer reported. Their colony has minimal defenses. And their response fleet? Min asked. Our sources in the council say they have only one ship in the sector, a large vessel called Thunderchild. It's currently patrolling near the jump point, exactly where we expected. Min's mouth curved into what his species considered a smile. Perfect. We'll bypass the patrol, hit the colony, and be gone before they can respond. The Council will see that these humans and their crude warships are no match for proper galactic warfare. What if they detect us? A junior officer asked. They won't, Min assured him. Our ships are indistinguishable from civilian vessels until we fire, and even if they did spot us, what could they do? Their ships are slow, obvious targets. By the time they realize what's happening, it will be too late. Unknown to the Dra'kari, aboard the UNS Thunderchild, Lieutenant Bay was monitoring unusual energy readings near the jump point. Captain, I'm detecting something strange. 3 ships just exited the jump point, but they're not broadcasting identification signals. Captain Seo studied the readings. 20 years in Earth Space Force had taught him to trust his instincts. Their engine signatures don't match any known civilian craft, he noted. And they're on a direct course for the colony, not the trade station. He made his decision quickly. Sound General Quarters. Inform Earth Command that we're tracking 3 suspicious vessels. We're moving to intercept. As the massive human warship changed course, its weapon systems came online, ports opening to reveal missile tubes and energy cannons. In the council chamber, the debate about humanity's place in the galaxy continued, unaware that the first test of their different approaches to warfare was about to take place in a small, distant system. And orbiting silently above Earth, a council observation post recorded everything, transmitting the data back to the waiting representatives. The coming conflict would answer a question that troubled them all. Were humans too dangerous to join galactic society, or was their unusual approach to warfare exactly what the galaxy needed? The research outpost horizon went dark at exactly 0300 Earth Standard Time. One moment, the small human settlement on Proxima Centauri B was sending regular status updates. The next, silence. In the colony's main control center, Director Lee watched in horror as 3 ships suddenly appeared on their scanners. The vessels had approached with no warning, appearing seemingly out of nowhere. "They're firing!" shouted the sensor operator, as the first energy beam struck the colony's small defense shield. Director Lee grabbed the emergency communication system. "This is Horizon Outpost. We are under attack by 3 unknown vessels. Requesting immediate..." The transmission cut off as the colony's main power grid failed under a second barrage, 200,000 kilometers away, aboard the UNS Thunderchild. Admiral Kang received the fragmented distress call. Her ship had been tracking the suspicious vessels, but had lost them when they activated some kind of stealth technology. "All hands to battle stations," she ordered, her voice calm despite the situation. "Set course for Horizon Outpost maximum speed." The massive human warship turned, its engines flaring bright as it accelerated toward the colony. On the bridge, tactical displays showed 3 enemy vessels surrounding the small outpost. "Identification?" Kang asked. "Matching engine signatures." "To known profiles," Lieutenant Han replied. "Confirmed Zaraxi vessels military grade. They're disguised as trade ships, but those are definitely warships." Admiral Kang nodded. "Send message to Earth Command. We have confirmed Zaraxi aggression against Horizon Outpost. We are moving to engage." As the Thunderchild approached, 2 smaller human vessels emerged from behind Proxima's second planet, Scout, ships that had been patrolling the outer system. "Scout 1 and Scout 2 reporting for duty, Admiral," came the voice of Captain Jun. "We're on your wing." Below them, the colony was in chaos. The Zaraxi had destroyed the main defensive systems, and were now targeting communication arrays and power centers. They clearly aimed to cripple the colony without destroying it completely, a show of force designed to humiliate the humans. Aboard the Zaraxi flagship, Captain Min was feeling confident. The attack was proceeding perfectly. The colony's defenses had fallen quickly, just as expected. "Sir," his sensor officer called out, "I'm detecting approaching vessels, 1 large ship and 2 smaller craft." Min examined the data and smiled. "So the famous human warships arrive. Let them come. Now we'll show the Council how primitive their approach truly is." The 3 Zaraxi vessels turned away from the colony, revealing their true nature as their outer hulls reconfigured. Weapons, systems emerging from hidden compartments. "They're so obvious," Captain Min said with disdain. "Look at them. No attempt at deception, no subtlety. This will be simple." The Thunderchild continued its approach, its weapon systems clearly visible, and powered up. To the Zaraxi it appeared slow, clumsy, and hopelessly outmatched against their more agile craft. "Open a channel," Admiral Kang ordered. Min was surprised when the communication request came through. "They want to talk? How quaint. Accept the transmission." Admiral Kang's face appeared on his screen. "Zaraxi vessels, this is Admiral Kang of the United Earth Fleet. You have attacked a peaceful research outpost without provocation. Power down your weapons and prepare to be boarded." Min laughed. "Human, you are in no position to make demands. Your ship is outnumbered and outclassed. This colony is now under Zaraxi control, by authority of the Galactic Council's security directive." "The Council did not authorize this attack," Kang replied, her expression unchanged. "This is your only warning. Withdraw immediately." Min cut the transmission. "Target their main vessel. Let's show them how real warfare is conducted." The Zaraxi ships fired simultaneously, energy weapons lashing out at the Thunderchild. To Min's surprise, the human vessel made no attempt to evade. Instead, it turned to present its heavily armored bow, absorbing the first volley with minimal damage. What happened next changed Min's understanding of warfare forever. The supposedly primitive exposed weapon systems of the human ships fired in coordinated patterns. Unlike the elegant precision beams of the Zaraxi, human weapons were diverse and overwhelming. Railguns firing hypervelocity projectiles, missile swarms with unpredictable flight paths, and energy cannons that sacrificed precision for raw power. The first Zaraxi vessel lost its propulsion system to a barrage of kinetic impactors that the ship's sleek design simply couldn't withstand. The second took a direct hit from what appeared to be a nuclear-tipped missile, its shields collapsing under the electromagnetic pulse. "Impossible!" Min shouted as his own ship shuddered under fire. "Their targeting system shouldn't be able to lock onto us this effectively." His tactical officer looked up with fear in his eyes. "Sir, they're not using sophisticated targeting. They're saturating the entire area with fire. We can't evade because there's nowhere safe to move. when the Zaraxi pressed their attack, targeting what they believed were critical systems on the Thunderchild, they discovered another truth about human vessels. They were designed with redundancy and compartmentalization that allowed them to continue fighting even when heavily damaged. "Sir, they've lost 30% of their outer hull, but they're still coming," reported Min's second-in-command, voice shaking. "Our scans show multiple backup systems activating." Min watched in disbelief as the damaged human vessel continued its advance, weapons still firing with undiminished power. Behind it, the two smaller human ships were executing flanking maneuvers, herding the Zaraxi vessels into the Thunderchild's line of fire. "This isn't warfare as we understand it," Minnie realized aloud. "They're not trying to be elegant or precise. They built ships to endure punishment and keep fighting." 2 hours after the battle began, Min gave the order to retreat. One of his vessels was crippled beyond repair, its crew evacuating to the other ships. The Zaraxi fleet, which had arrived confident of an easy victory, fled the system in disarray. The Thunderchild's bridge, Admiral Kang watched them go. Her ship had taken significant damage, but all critical systems remained functional. "Send word to Earth," she ordered. "The Zaraxi have been repelled. Horizon outpost is secure." Lieutenant Han looked up from his console. "Admiral, we're receiving a transmission. It's from the Galactic Council observation post. They've been watching the entire engagement." Kang straightened her uniform. "Put them through. It seems we've given them quite a demonstration." The emergency session of the Galactic Council began in chaos. Representatives from all 43 species talked over one another, their voices rising as the recording of the battle between human and Zaraxi ships played on the massive display screen. "The humans defeated the Zaraxi?" Elder Counselor Sung shook his head in disbelief. "How is this possible? The Zaraxi have some of our most advanced ships." Captain Day, recently promoted for his diplomatic work with Earth, stood before the Council. "The battle recordings are clear. 3 Zaraxi warships attacked the human research outpost without provocation. When the human vessels responded, the Zaraxi were defeated in direct combat." Counselor Wu, who had been the loudest voice against human membership in the galactic community, pounded his fist on the table. "This only proves my point. Look at the human ships, brutish, heavily armed, designed for violence. We cannot allow such a species to join our peaceful coalition." A murmur of agreement rose from some sections of the chamber. Elder Counselor Sung raised his hand for silence. "Before we make judgments, I wish to hear from our xenobiologist. Dr. G, you have studied human evolution. What do you make of their approach to warfare?" Dr. G, a small woman with bright, intelligent eyes, stepped onto the speaking platform. Her voice was soft, but it carried through the chamber. "I believe I understand why humans built their ships this way," she said. "Humans evolved on a particularly dangerous world where predators attacked openly. Unlike many council species who evolved to hide from threats, humans developed as pursuit predators themselves and as prey for larger animals." She activated a display showing Earth's prehistoric predators. Many council members shifted uncomfortably at the sight of the massive creatures. Their psychology values visible deterrence over subtle threat. When a human displays strength, it is not to intimidate in preparation for attack. It is to prevent attack altogether. The council chamber fell silent as her words sank in. "Are you suggesting," asked Counselor Wu skeptically, "that these warships bristling with weapons are actually defensive in nature?" "Precisely," Dr. G nodded. "Humans call it peace through strength. Their ships are designed to survive. Attack and continue functioning, not to strike first." At that moment, the chamber doors opened and Representative Son of the Zaraxi entered. His usual confidence was missing as he took his place at the observer's platform. "The Zaraxi High Command wishes to formally apologize for the unauthorized actions taken by Captain Min," he announced. "We did not sanction the attack on the human colony." No one in the chamber believed him, but protocol demanded they accept the statement. Elder Counselor Sung turned to Sun. "Your ships had every advantage: superior speed, stealth technology, precision weapons, yet the humans prevailed. How do you explain this?" Sun's scales darkened with embarrassment. "Their ships were not what we expected. Our tactical simulations were based on the assumption that a vessel so visible would be vulnerable. We were wrong. As the Council continued to debate, a new delegation arrived. Representative Yun from Earth, flanked by Admiral Kang and Director Hyosun, entered the chamber. Their presence brought immediate silence. Honored Council, Representative Yun began, Earth thanks you for convening this session. We are disturbed by the Zeraxi attack, but gratified that the Council acknowledges it was unprovoked. Elder Councillor Sung inclined his head. We are still trying to understand your people, Representative Yun. Your approach to warfare is unlike any we have encountered, which is why we've come with a proposal, Yun replied. We will maintain our ship designs, as they are fundamental to our defense doctrine. However, we will participate in joint exercises to demonstrate our peaceful intentions and help integrate our different approaches. The chamber erupted in discussion again. Some council members protested that allowing humans to keep their warships would upset the balance of power. Others argued that human military philosophy might offer new perspectives. Admiral Kang stepped forward. If I may address the council directly, Elder Sung nodded permission. You fear our ships because they are different, Kang said simply. We feared your ships when we learned they are designed to attack without warning. Perhaps both approaches have merit and limitations. We can learn from each other. In the weeks that followed, the council debated extensively. Eventually, a compromise was reached. Humans would be granted provisional membership in the galactic community. They would maintain their distinctive warship designs, but would agree to certain restrictions on their deployment. More surprisingly, several previously neutral species requested human military advisors. The Hokat, who had suffered repeated Zeraxi incursions, were particularly interested in human defensive strategies. Most significant of all, reports began to reach Earth that alien shipyards were incorporating what they called human-style design. Elements, visible weapons systems, redundant power cores, and protective armor. 6 months after the battle at Proxima Centauri, Admiral Kang stood on the observation deck of the newly repaired UNS Thunderchild. Beside her, Elder Councillor Sung watched as a mixed fleet of human and alien vessels performed coordinated maneuvers. Your ships still disturb many council members, Sung admitted, but none can deny their effectiveness, Kang smiled. And many humans still find it unsettling that council ships can appear civilian until the moment they attack. We're learning to live with our differences. Below them, a new class of ship moved into formation, a council vessel with clearly visible weapon systems, but incorporating the elegant lines and advanced stealth technology of traditional alien design. The best of both approaches, Sung observed. Integration, not assimilation, Kang agreed. That's the key to true cooperation. As the joint fleet aligned into formation and prepared for their FTL jump, Admiral Kang watched with pride. Sometimes, showing your strength isn't about starting fights, she told Sung. It's about making sure they never happen. Sung's expression was thoughtful, a concept many of us are only beginning to understand. Perhaps humans have more to teach us than we initially believed. Together, they watched as the combined fleet, once impossible to imagine, vanished into the depths of space, the beginning of a new era in galactic security.